Talk Live. City Talk Live is a special programming that I created nearly 7 years ago when we used to be at MTV 23. I carried it on at Pt.1, and now I'm carrying it on here at QCE News Media Services, Ustreaming on the Ustream channel. This is where you're finding us tonight, on Ustream.tv/channel/AAI channels. Tomorrow morning I will be putting this on the YouTube channel. And channel 23, for those of you that are from the Manchester South Homestead area, but although let's not forget that only Ward 3 is going to be voting in this special election. It is District 10.
Hillsborough County District 10.
District 10, but it concerns only Ward 3.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a large enough ward, right?
Yeah.
They will air all weekend on channel 23 starting tomorrow night. So if you miss it tonight, you can get it on either the Ustream channel, QCEnews.com, our website, the YouTube channel of AAI channels, or you can get it on channel 23. That's 4 channels you can find it on. So there should be no reason that you can't get this somehow. And now, 3 of those channels, which are mine, you can just pick it up and just view it whenever you want to. You don't have to wait for it to air, because it's Ustreaming, it's YouTubing, stuff like that. So these are the rules for this debate. This is a special election which will be held next Tuesday, December the 20th. Remember, the hours have changed. The hours of voting are from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We'll do that again, because the hours have changed. The voting hours only for this special election will be from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Those are the polling, and we vote at the
Carol Rhines.
Carol Rhines Auditorium in the rear. We asked you to park there as well, or on the side streets. And now here are the rules for this debate. All 3 candidates have been contacted. One has not notified us for an answer yes or no. So tonight we have 2 candidates, both on the Democratic side, who have said yes, and they are here. The debate will not last more than an hour. So here are the rules. You'll each be given 2 minutes to start, to say what you want to the public. And then we'll ask the questions. You'll have 60 seconds to answer the questions. If you mention your opponent will be able to talk about what you said for another 30 seconds. Rebuttal. Otherwise than that, there are no other rules. We ask we all be friendly, we're all civilized. This is democracy at work on QCEnews.com. I have not done a coin, so if you don't mind, Peter, we'll go ladies first. And maybe we'll end with you doing the first.
Peter, go first.
So, Mary, first 2 minutes. Why are you running for office?
I'm running for office. First of all, my name is Mary Georges. I'm a mother of 4 children. I live in Ward 3 since 1995. I live in Manchester since 93. And I'm an active woman in the city. I will always be active in the community. I always speak about how we can have a better community. I always been in the show since 2003. And a lot of people are always asking me, why are you not running for office? But this was opportunity, and it was for me to take a chance, because I know it's a time for action. It's a time for one more woman in the World Trade, because there is always a man. And when I saw this, I said, this is for one woman in the city of Manchester. As a strong advocate, it's my time to go to the State House to defend my community. That's the reason, you see, I take that position.
Thank you very much. And Peter, why are you running for office?
Thank you, Glenn. My name is Peter Sullivan. I am a former member of the New Hampshire House of Representatives, serving from 2001 until 2006. I've also served Ward 3 as our alderman for 2 years, and been active in a number of community organizations, especially NeighborWorks Greater Manchester. The reason I'm running for the seat is because we need a representative who is able to be an effective and strong legislator from their first day on the job. As an attorney and a former legislator, I believe I have the experience to make a difference for our community from day one. These are challenging times. We need someone who is familiar with the legislative process to get to work on creating jobs for our community, for building better schools, and for cleaning up a state government that frankly has become out of control and very insulated over the last couple of years. In addition, I've served in the Army National Guard for 10 years, so I believe I have a pretty good sense of the concerns that are facing our veterans as they return from Afghanistan and from Iraq. I did not get activated to go over there, but I have family members and friends who have served over there. And there are things we can do on the state level to help them make the transition back to civilian life. But really the most important thing is someone who's willing to stand by their principles, who's in touch with the folks in our community, and like I said before, who can be an effective advocate from their first day on the job.
Thank you, Peter. And now if we can get a wide shot, I'd like to go to our sponsor this evening. It is Great Bridge Properties here at 814 Elm Street. They have provided us with Studio C, which we use from time to time for City Talk Live. This is one of 4 studios that QCE News is allowed to use in this building, and we are happy for these sponsors to provide us with these rooms. Let's start off with the first question, and that is, what's going on with the State House that you really don't like? Anyone wants to start? Does it matter? Pick it up.
She can start.
Go ahead, Peter.
Okay, I'll take that one first, Glenn. I think the largest problem that we have up there right now is the people that are in charge. Bill O'Brien is the current speaker, and to give you a sense of where he's coming from, he's the former law partner of Tom Finneran. Tom Finneran was the Speaker of the House in Massachusetts, who was a convicted felon. He was convicted of felony corruption charges. And it seems that Mr. O'Brien learned all the wrong lessons from his former law partner. It's a very secretive leadership team. It panders to the most radical right-wing elements of the Republican Party. And frankly, it's chaos up there right now. What we need up there is adult leadership. The grown-ups have to step up and take charge again. We have somebody heading the Veterans Affairs Committee who was willing to heckle an American serviceman for stating that he's gay. How can we trust a leadership team that thinks that the person heading up Veterans Affairs issues in the legislature is willing to publicly ridicule a man who's risking his life for our country right now? That's not acceptable. We have members of the Finance Committee who have said that mental health care providers deliberately keep the mentally ill in institutional settings because that means more money for them. That's an insult to the people that work not only for the Department of Health and Human Services, but for the private agencies around the state that do receive some state funding to subsidize their operations. I would challenge the Republican leadership in the House to step out of the committee room now and then, go to the state hospital, go to some of the homeless shelters, find out what people are really going through in these difficult times before they shoot off their mouth and make statements like that. We need to have people that are more compassionate, more sensitive to the needs of the community, and who believe in governing through persuasion and cooperation instead of through intimidation.
Mary, what in the State House has happened in the last year that you are not happy with for you to run for office as a House rep?
As a member of a community, I know there is another issue that's going over there inside the State House, sometimes because of the Republican and the Democrat. As a mother and as a member of the community, there is a things where I don't like it. I can give example that the way they take it out, they stop the fund for the refugee. It's not because I'm a refugee, or I'm not a refugee, but it's not because I'm a black or white. But there is a thing sometimes we need to do what is right. Because those people, they didn't come here because they want to come here. They brought them here. It's the same way like they brought it everywhere. But when they come here, they stop the funding because those people, they need like to get a more education to live better in this country. They come here, they need to know how they can survive. It's not because they want to depend on a government, but they can depend on themselves. For depending on themselves, they need more like English classes. They need more training for job. They need a job. You know, all those things. There was like a stop those funding. It was not good. But the things like this, I can stand it to defend. I can defend it for the things for school. When they say they're gonna take it out, there is a money cut for the teachers or the police. All those things. I'm gonna stand for that. Because first of all, education is very important for me. Come here, I went to school. If I stand today, I'm talking because of education. If I didn't go to school, I didn't go take classes to know who I am, my age, but I went back to school to get more education. I would like to stand over there for education. And to the teacher, the schools, all those funding for them, they have a right because we want a better school, better city. Our city is a good city. I came here since '93. I live in a city in Manchester, New Hampshire. It was a good state. But today, the state is start to go down. It was not like a drug or things, but today we have a more problem about the drug. We need to stand because this is a time to do the right things for our state.
Since you brought up refugees, let's go to that issue. Because it is a major issue not only for Manchester and Ward 3, but also in the state of New Hampshire. Let me bring you up to speed. Back in the early 1980s, and again in the early 1990s, when Manchester was delegated as a refugee community, as part of New Hampshire, the city received lots of money. Where did that money go? Now, I'm wondering that if in 2013, which will be the next 10 years, because they've done it twice in 20 years, and we're approaching that 30th year, if they're going to offer the city more money. Now, the mayor seems to say, where's the money going? Well, it's a good question to ask the mayor.
Oh, that was very good.
But before we go to that, let me tell you something here. Many, many years ago, the city had an opportunity to apply for that grant that now the Unitarian Church is getting. The city chose not to apply for the grant by themselves, and they chose not to apply jointly. They decided that. It is true that the Unitarian Church received $120,000 last year to hire 3 people to help in our educational system, which they are paying for. They're not part of our school system, but they are working in the system. The church is paying for it because they get the grant for it. $70,000 was their cost. Where did the remaining $50,000 go? People are saying they're paying their administration or their mortgage in their big Boston headquarters. To me, that's wrong. Now, lately, in the last few weeks, the state of New Hampshire, both the governor and the executive council, has stopped the funding with a request from the board of mayor and aldermen. Now, for now, that's okay. But if we wait too long to get that funding, we're talking $2.5 million a year. The mayor claims that federal taxes are paid by us. They are. But if you don't get your fair share as a state or a community, it'll go to some other state or other community. What will you two do in office to make sure that Manchester does not lose that $2.5 million? And number 2, that we do not punish the students who are refugees because they do not ask to come here. They are forced to come here. You want to start?
Sure, I'll start. The issues that you raised about where the money went, those are valid concerns. But those are concerns that really need to be addressed by someone other than a state legislator, because it's it involves issues and methodology that are frankly above my pay grade. What should happen is that there should be a comprehensive audit of the entire system to find out, you know, if the money is being spent properly and where there are inefficiencies in the system. I have significant problems with the approach the mayor has taken. You know, I find it ironic that, you know, we have a mayor who's, you know, immigrant stock himself, as pretty much all of us are, who seems willing to blame everything on refugees. And that's frankly not the case. You know, there are problems in the city, but it's not the folks coming over from West Africa who are coming over from Bosnia. They're not the ones who have caused the problems in Manchester, to be perfectly honest about it. So for him to go and say we should solve the problem by cutting off funding that helps young children, that helps people that are trying to make their way in America, it boggles the mind. It's really, you know, taking out your frustration on the most vulnerable people. And, you know, bullies can do that, but leaders don't. So I support the decision that apparently the council made either yesterday or today to continue the funding stream to the advocacy groups in the Manchester area. You know, at least the people that need services will continue to get them while we try and find out you know, where the inefficiencies are and whether or not it's possible to have other communities around the state help us out. I don't think anybody wants to turn refugees away, at least anybody with a heart and anybody who understands the history of some of the countries that have been affected, whether it's, you know, Cambodia, Bosnia, the Congo. You know, nobody wants to see people turned away. But is it possible for us to sit down with the people from Rochester or Dover, you know, other larger communities in New Hampshire? Yeah, we could do that, and then, you know, that might be able to help take some of the burden off of the social service infrastructure in the Manchester area. You know, and that way, you know, we can, you know, get our feet back on the ground as a community, while people who are coming to the United States to try and live the American dream, you know, they can continue to do so.
Mary, on the same issue?
Yeah, what I can say myself for those problems, sometimes when they say the refugee come here, they make their country down, you know, the refugee that didn't choose to come here. I went once in Lutheran with some of the refugee because they came here for 7 months. After 7 months, they cut everything. They didn't have, it was a couple, husband and a wife, but they don't have a children. And they was working, they worked just for 2 months to Walmart over there in North Concord. After that, they didn't have a work, they don't have a job to get the money to pay the rent, and then the landlord put them out or accused them to bring them to the court, and the court went to Nashua. Those people didn't know even how to go to Nashua. But I told you the truth, when they contact me, I went with them to Nashua. When I went to the court said, no, the clerk told me, it's better you go back to the Lutheran, go talk to them. We went back to the Lutheran, I asked them, those people, they just came here, 7 months. You say they just got a help for 7 months. Now, they don't speak English. They don't working. And after 7 months, you say you cannot help them. What are they gonna do? And the wife was just crying because she saw now like she's gonna be outside, you see? And for me, I talked to them. I said, I came here with a visa. I stay here for me to be integrated better in the system. I stayed almost for 2 years, 3 years, because I supposed to work very hard to go to school to learn English. I supposed to make sure everything was, first of all, the English was the key. You need to speak English. Now we're gonna go to work. Sometimes we go to work too, it's not easy, because you're gonna find all of those kind of trouble, because you don't speak English very well. You see, with all those things, now for 7 months, You can tell somebody to leave, you know. But I told them, I said, I asked the Lutheran. That's what I can tell myself. I asked them, I said, they didn't choose to come here. There is a place they can go. If they cannot come here, don't bring them again. I said, now, those they are here already, you cannot support them. You said just you support it for 7 months, you dump them. Now, after, you're going to bring someone, oh, no, yes, they are coming. I said, they're coming to do what? Because those who come here already, you cannot even afford to do something to them. You cannot give them a place to sleep. You cannot give them a job. You cannot. Now you're going to bring someone, or it's not us, you need to speak to Washington. I said, okay, give me the number. You see, and I went to here for here in Pine Street for the institute. And there is one of the guys I started to ask the same question. The guy said, you know what? We're looking for somebody like you. Can I give you the number? I give you that number. Call those people. You see, that is a problem with the refugee. There is not, first of all, those people, like they work very hard, but they don't want to stay home. And if there is a job, they're going to do it to be independent.
Let's go to the next question.
Yeah.
And it has to do with, again, the refugees. It's a very important issue in this city. And I really want the people to know that it's not cut and dry. The problem isn't on the refugees, and the problem is really between the Lutheran Church and our city elected officials. They need to get along and make things happen, because they have both at one time or another agreed to an agreement with the federal government to take these people. Now here's the question. Nashua is the second biggest city in New Hampshire. This year, they have allowed themselves graciously, wow, to take 12 families, based on the fact that they don't have the infrastructure that Manchester has. That's hard to believe, since they have a bus system that runs till 8 p.m. and ours only runs till 5 p.m. That's only one example. The question is, should you, as a state legislature, should you contact your state legislatures who are from Nashua and representing the city and saying, we don't accept that notion. You get more money than we do to take care of refugee education, but you have less people. This year, we took 220 people, not 12 families. How would you respond to that, Peter?
Well, like I said before, there should be a shared cooperative effort between every community in the state that has an infrastructure to address the problem.
You think Nashua doesn't have an infrastructure?
No, I think they do, and I believe the Seacoast very likely does as well. They have social service agencies, they have a public transportation system. So like I said, let's work with the federal government, let's work with the state government, let's work with the municipal governments around the state. Let's not be driven by emotion, let's be driven by facts, and make sure that the funding stream reflects the burden that an individual community takes on.
Mary, think Nashua should be taking more families?
Why not? They're supposed to take more family. And the problem is we need to work out. If me now is my time, if me I'm there, I'm going to talk. It's a time we need to work out. What is better for the community here? What is better for the refugee? What is better? You know, everyone is supposed to be in a better seat. You know, you say, what do you feel is good for you? You know, what is good for the refugee? What is good for the American? You know, because we cannot be like that person come to my house to, you know, because if you know in your house you cannot afford to have 2 or 3 family in your house, you're not going to do it. You see, that let us go work with the state, with the government to say we need to look for what is better for the refugee. Like people come from Congo. Why people? But if Congo was good, I don't think so. Before people from Congo was going to like a refugee, never. If Congo, when I came here in 1990, Congo was one of the country you cannot ask for asylum. No, you cannot do it because there was a country, it was a good country, you cannot say, I came here to be asylum or refugee. No, there was not. Like people was come from Congo, maybe come here for education. Most was come here, the students to come to learn. You see, they was come just to learn. Their parents was pay them tuition to come to pay the school here. It was not to come as a refugee because it's a big country. They have a lot of natural resources. Look now, what they do with the president for the election.
Why did you come here from Congo?
Yeah.
To Congo?
I just came here. When I came here was in '90. I was just to go to Canada to be. I was on my way to go to Canada for my school. Yeah. But there is just like people sometimes they told you, here is good, you know, you stay here. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's change topic and let's go back to the state legislature. Has the state legislature in the last 2 years really changed?
What is it?
Has the state legislature really changed in the last 2 years, for the good or for the bad?
It's changed for the good, for the bad. Everything we do for the election, I think so. For the 2 years, the way people go for the election, here for me, I can say first of all here, everything what they do is right, is good, because people go for election. You have a freedom to do election, to do what you want to choose the person you want to choose, and.
But in state government, how we run our state legislature, our state senate, and our state house, have you seen a drastic change, and are you okay with that?
I don't think so. I don't see something is bad for me.
All right, Peter?
Oh, I think there's definitely been a change, especially over the last 2 years. You know, when I was in the House back in from 2001 through 2006, you know, we had some pretty good battles. You know, as a Democrat, we were usually outnumbered, but we'd have our occasional victory because there were people on the other side that you could reach out to and talk to. Someone could be your opponent, but that didn't mean they were your enemy. Today, it's a very toxic climate up there. It's driven by a very bitter, angry ideology, I guess is the word. A lot of the newer representatives that came in during the last election were members of either the Tea Party movement or the Free State Project. And those people have a very, very ultra-conservative right-wing agenda. Frankly, one that's not in touch with New Hampshire values and not in touch with traditional New Hampshire Republican values. These people are radicals. You know, they want to dismantle government. They want to shred the social safety net. You know, in New Hampshire, we're frugal. You know, we're tight with the buck, but we also understand that you have to take care of the less fortunate in your community. These people don't view it that way.